What do we do with our shit? What happens after we flush the toilet?
Basically, the process here involves taking the water, the sewage from the city, putting it into these primary clarifiers that are fairly quick. Basically, you've got 3 sets of cylinders. They enter through the cylinder. In the center, the water flows up. As it's flowing up in the inner cylinder, the solids fall down, and that slurry is pumped out basically into the geodesic dome, which I'll explain. That water flows out to an outer collar where it's aerated. Chlorine gas is pumped through it to kill the pathogens, and basically it's dumped into the Providence River. The sludge from the bottom of these primary clarifiers are pumped to the covered clarifiers, secondary clarifiers. They're called gravity thickeners. And basically it's the same process as before, but much slower, because you have a thicker medium. So once they're thickened and that process can take a few days, depending on the suspended solids loads. That's just the reason the domes are there is both to heat up the system, to start both aerobic and anaerobic processes, digestion, but mostly, from what I've been told, is to protect the community from the smell.
But is there another way to go?
What you see is a building that is powered by the sun. Inside the building are 4 rivers which flow continuously. These rivers go through a series of stages which ecologists call successional stages, in which the diversity and the complexity over time increases. And the idea here is to see if inherent in the living world are specific organisms, like a plant, for example, that can take a carcinogen, an organic toxin, and transform it into harmless chemicals, and the byproduct being new forms of life in plants. And so as you go through the facility, you will get a sense that at the beginning of the process, it begins with photosynthesis and bacteria working together. And then as it passes on through the 5-day journey, you then begin to see the building up of food chains, all of which have the end product of returning back water that is pure.
The solar aquatic system of waste treatment is an engineered ecosystem, mechanically simple but biologically diverse. The hazardous chemicals used in current sewage treatment are not used here. The biological processes that naturally clean and purify brooks and streams, rivers and lakes are employed and controlled in this greenhouse. Sunlight, solar heat, atmospheric gases and minerals are arranged to provide food and shelter for a wide array of organisms that transform sewage back into clean water. In the algae room, sewage and sludge enter 4 parallel treatment streams. The sewage arrives entirely untreated. The sludge is a concentrated byproduct of conventional sewage treatment. This facility can treat this sewage from about 100 homes, 15 to 20,000 gallons of sewage per day. The sludge requires more time in the greenhouse, thus reducing daily capacity. Bacteria and algae begin the process of recovering clean water. Bacteria work directly on organic matter in the sewage and sludge, converting it into food for the algae. In these tanks are many different forms of microbial life, organisms to break up fats, oils, and greases, reduce the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, and turn toxic ammonia into nitrates and nitrites. The photosynthetic algae then takes up the nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus. In the fish room, even more diverse organisms help clean the sewage and sludge. Microscopic animals, zooplankton, graze on algae trapped in the plant roots. The plants serve as hosts not only to algae and zooplankton, but a wide range of life, all the way up to fish and snails and down to bacteria. The plants also directly remove nutrients from the water. Some even take up heavy metals, mercury, cadmium, copper, while others help disinfect the water by killing coliform bacteria and other pathogens. The fish live in the nearly clean water at the end of the greenhousing process, eating zooplankton. The marshes are the final step in cleaning up the water. The marshes contain rock filters and wetland plants which help remove any remaining metals and toxic organic compounds, including some carcinogens. These plants also reduce nitrates and fecal coliform bacteria levels. The plant crops are harvested before they become toxic and are then composted. Trees and flowers grown in the greenhouses can be used for landscaping. Fish grown in this kind of system have tested cleaner than those caught in the wild. Water is cleaned to advanced or tertiary treatment levels.
Wouldn't it be nice to have this kind of project to clean up the Boston Harbor? Tertiary treated or advanced treated water instead of secondary treated water. Fish, plants, trees instead of sludge. Don't let the MWRA tell you we can't do it. If we ask for it, we can get it.